Look, if we see the internet shut down, you know, you go down, I go down, Alex goes down, everybody goes down, Doug goes down, Doug and Joe, everybody that's on the internet. Now, I don't believe that they'll take it down on the first, but I believe you're going to see such horrific censorship that, you know, they'll lope along until the election, and then that's when the decision will be made. Hopefully there's enough Republicans or even Democrats with spine to withstand this. But we know it's coming. We know the day is here, and then we know that everything that Jesus warned us about now is in play. And I'm telling you, we're beyond the 2 Chronicles 7:14 for a nation. Our nation is given over to judgment. Do you think people understand that statement? Just simply, they don't get it. And I keep saying to the Lord, what's it going to take? And I said that 20-some years ago. You see something in the Spirit, or God gives you a word, you automatically assume it's going to happen the next couple of weeks, months, or even next couple of years. What's interesting is because of the long-suffering love of God for His creation, He calls His judgment His strange work, okay? That's a scripture. So the thing is that God is patient. He's merciful. He's loving. He's kind. He will respond to prayer. Two people in a car, they get in a horrific car wreck. Even sometimes they're both Christians. People go to the Lord in prayer. Why did one die and the other live? And the Lord simply says the one that lived was covered in prayer. So the people of God listening to me, don't give up on praying. Don't give up praying for your loved ones. Give them over. A lady came in my store who watched me on Jim Bakker. I think David and our shows are playing on now on the Jim Bakker show, Jim Bakker show.com. And she was kind of befuddled. She's telling me what she's going to do, what she wants to do. And I said, ma'am, what you're going to do and you want to do, that's irrelevant. You better start focusing on what you need to do. You need to do what you need to do. I'm not giving a play on words, Sheila, but you need to be a doer of the word and not hearer. So let's just say this. The headlines now, to those with open ears and open hearts, should be becoming so more provocative to move you to seek the Lord first and foremost, to make sure you get right with Jesus. When Tom released the whole thing, Exo Vaticana, when they went on public record as talking about the Pope that was going to resign, who resigned, and this one coming in, and based on, the prophecies of St. Malachi or Malachi or whatever, but the point is that the world couldn't understand how you could figure that stuff out. They thought he had a secret insider in the Vatican. Well, it's the same way the kings that made war on Israel couldn't understand that God would reveal to His servants, the prophets, the thoughts that they thought while they slept upon their bed. And I don't think people understand this, the mockers and the scoffers and the false witness bearers and those who sow discord, that the very words we speak may just harden your heart against God. And that's why I see happening in Hillary Clinton. Remember this, Pharaoh dies in the Red Sea, and I don't know the outcome of Hillary Clinton, but it would not surprise me to see her literally melt down on stage. I'm just telling you this, she has made war against heaven to such a degree that she has been associated with so many people's untimely demise. Some people say 152. Larry Nichols was Bill Clinton's, chief of staff during the Clinton governorship. And now what people don't understand, there is no basis now any longer for this country to stand. Donald Trump, I believe, let me share this. I support him. I started supporting him before he ran for president because when I saw who his enemies were, I thought they wouldn't get this infuriated unless he was saying the truth. And I believe that he's fulfilling the very, if you will, God can use whoever, and I believe God's using him to be the prosecuting attorney to present the evidence before the world of the absolute lies, the fraud, the evil, the wickedness, and I believe that happens before we get destroyed, okay? I stand on the record, Sheila. Most talk show hosts won't stand on this. They say I'm crazy, but I said before America's destroyed by Russia and China, that was at least 5 to 6 years ago, we weren't at war with Russia or China. We were still kind of friends. Before we're destroyed by Russia or China in a nuclear war, God's going to reveal the sins of America's leader to the American people and the people's sins before a holy God. Now, I suggest to you when a MiG-27, a Russian aircraft fighter, is within 10 feet of the wings of a P-8 Orion or whatever the airplane was in the Baltic Sea area, for 19 minutes they're sending a message. When the Iranians send 4, if you will, their high-speed attack boats against one ship in the Persian Gulf, and the Americans basically are on a no-fire command, they don't fear us anymore. You see, any prestige we had is gone. All our national identity is gone. All the respect for nations, the headlines a drudge. There's no president in history that has incurred the absolute contempt of the world. I remember being on your show. America will become a hissing in the nostrils of the nations around us. Remember that? That is a form of absolute contempt, you know, and also is the sound that a snake makes. So it's interesting. The ball of snakes in the world now is what we're saying, wrapping around the king snake. And the time, if you will, of dragons, literal dragons, monsters, literal monsters, and nightmarish creatures is upon us. And there is no way now to deny it. And as people try and deny it, they'd better basically acknowledge it. And Jesus said, behold, I give you power to tread on serpents and scorpions and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall by any means hurt you. And I believe that every Christian should be praying that, confessing that, and believing that, because what we're up against is not just simply of this world. The headlines, most of them are of this world, but notice the transition, Sheila, from earthly events to how many times you see demon-possessed people on drudge, the words exorcism, people eating people's faces off, the information I gave about the little children, what's happening to Christian girls. Where is the women's right, those hypocritical, hellish whores that will not speak up for their little sisters? Oh, guess what? It doesn't fit the agenda. So when people understand this, that we're watching, if you will, the end of the age, not the end of the world, but the end of the age play out before us, they'd better make that a matter of their priority, because guess what? They're in the sights of the evil one, and if you go into a room with 10 people, 9 of those people are scheduled for destruction. 9 out of 10. So that's what the globalists want. That's what the Luciferians are working for. And that's what all technology, biological enhancement, transhumanism, CRISPR technology, gene splicing, synthetic biology, astrobiology, nanobiology, every single form of weapon that can be fielded against a human genome is now, they're making war on you and your genes. And I'm not talking about your Levi's or your Wranglers. I'm talking about that which you are created with, and that which bears and even has the, if you will, the sum total of your life's experience.